Diane in Denmark here, and I'm not in Denmark today. As you can probably see, I'm not in my usual kitchen today. We're into start of a new week, Flylady Zone and which means it's kitchen week. And if you haven't already guessed by now, I'm in our Swedish summer house down on the southernmost coast of Sweden. We've got the sea. It takes me about 2.5 minutes to walk down to the sea. Now, I've told you before, I never film the family. The point of my channel is not to be showing you my life, it's to encourage you just to use the Flylady system so that we can free up our time to do the stuff that we want to do instead of, thinking that we have to be spending all day on the house, or that we can declutter stuff so that we can actually enjoy what we have instead of, acquiring more stuff all the time and having to look after it. So anyway, I'm in Sweden today. The family are not here. My son isn't with us in Sweden this weekend. And my husband and my daughter, my DD 16, they have gone off for a walk in the woods. And they always look at me and say, do you want to come? And I'm like, no, I don't know why. I just find walks in the woods really creepy. So I've said, no, I'm quite happy to stay home. So I'm going to do 15 minutes of cleaning in the kitchen, and then I'm going to have a nap, and then I'm going to have a wee walk along the beach in the front of our house, and then I'm probably going to watch something like Father Brown or Hercule Poirot on the television with my feet up. And the neighbour's cat is here, so I'm going to have a really good time while they're out enjoying the woods. Anyway, enough talk from me. I'm going to put my wee flag up here, and I'm going to get the timer started, if I can work out this one, because it's not my usual timer. Let me see. Okay, yeah, timer's running. Timer is running. That'll keep us on the straight and narrow. And as usual, you've seen it all before. You know the way I do the kitchen. I've got my feather duster. I don't have the one on the stick here. And I need the one on the stick here because the summer house is really small and it's really low. So I can almost reach the ceiling in here. So I'm just going to do the usual. I'm going to do go around the room clockwise. And along the top of the kitchen cupboards, and when I move you around, you'll notice that here in our Swedish summer house we have cupboards up on top of the counters, and it's a complete opposite of our house, the main house in Copenhagen. To the top there, around the lights, and our Swedish summer house. But I'm just going to go and use the same one to do the baseboards, the skirting boards. We bought this house, I think it was about eight years ago, and the couple who had the house before us, they had lived in this house. They used it also as their summer house, but they lived here most of the year. They were here for something like 27 years. They loved this house. And when we bought it, they were also really, hold on, let me get the back here too. I'll give this a shake outside once I'm finished. Let me just pop it on the ground. They were delighted when we bought it because we wanted to keep it as is. So it's kind of quaint and old-fashioned. Hold on, if I just go that way, you can see into, that's, it's tiny here, but that's the dining room with all the old CDs up there. We've kept everything as is basically, and we bought it lock, stock and barrel, so all the furniture, also a lot of the crockery and stuff was theirs, and they actually came to visit once we had moved in here, and they were just really comforted that we hadn't we could have torn the whole place down and built new, but we like it here. It's really cozy, and as my friend Helena said, she came to visit the house when we were thinking of buying it. She said, this house has got good karma, and she's absolutely right. Anyway, let me turn you around, and I'm going to start by doing the counters, because now we've done the up and the down, so hold on. And I always say that I don't do fancy filming. It is really not fancy filming today, because I don't even have a stand for my camera, so careful you don't fall off the windowsill there. And I'm just going to check and see if there's anything that needs decluttered. Okay, pencil, that needs to go back into our general drawer. And in this general drawer, I have things like plastic gloves, matches, baking paper, and I've got a small selection, not too many, of the essentials of things like string and elastic bands and a couple of old pegs. But I keep those contained so they're not kind of rummaging, you know, or roaming through all the drawer. And I also keep some pens and pencils here. Quite often we let friends borrow our summer house. So it's kind of good that everything, you know, can be found and they know where to find the, you know, the cutlery is here. This is our cutlery. And this one on the end one, I don't know if you can see here, hold on. And the end one down here, this is where I keep my dish towels and oven gloves, things like that. So that's all right, but I can see there's also some random items up here. Hold on, I'll just make sure the telephone's not going to fall down. Okay, I've got some IKEA batteries because last time we realised that the smoke alarm needs changed. And that's really important that you've got, not only do you have a smoke alarm, but they actually work. So I'm going to change that once I finish making this video. And in addition to the house here, that this is a tiny house, I think it's something like 50 square meters. And we've got husband and I's bedroom is through there, and then the kids have got bunk beds next door, and then you saw the dining room, and then we've got a small living room which looks out into the garden and where we sit and watch TV. And then we have two wooden cabins. This is a wooden house, and we have two cabins which each sleep 2 to 4 people. So when everybody's here during the summer, you know, when we've got friends and family staying, we can actually be 12 of us in the place. So it's a tiny house, but we can kind of expand. And we also have, of course, the smoke alarms in the guest cabin. So I'll do that once I've finished. And this is something also that I need to work on. We have a Wi-Fi system here so that when we are in Denmark, before we come over to use the Swedish cabin, we can actually switch on the heat remotely. I can do it via an app in Denmark, and I can switch on lights here, I can switch on the heating. All our heating in the cabin is electric. They're all electric heaters. So it's been really great for us to have the system, because before we got the system, we had to keep the electric heaters on all the time, because if you go under like 5 degrees, it's not good for the house. You know, it can get damp. But now I can kind of check the temperature from Denmark and say, oh, okay, we need to switch on the radiators. And as I say, when we get here, like on a Friday night, when we get here, you know, I've switched on the heating perhaps in the morning, and it's nice and cozy when we get here. So anyway, if you've not seen those Wi-Fi systems before, they are fantastic. Also for people who are maybe elderly or infirm and can't get to the plugs, you know, they can switch them on via the app. Fantastic. Anyway, so that's something I need to do. Sorry, I'm getting off track here. Okay, and in here, this is just where we have all our plates. And this was actually a dinner service. Okay, I'm not doing much cleaning, I'm chatty today anyway. This was actually a dinner service, a whole set of plates that we got from my dearly departed Danish father-in-law, and they fit in really nicely here in our Swedish summer house, and they're actually Swedish, Gustavsbjerg. I don't know if you've heard of them, Rörstrand, yeah, anyway. They look really good here with that kind of blue and white theme going on. Right, and in here, this is where I keep all the crockery, and you know, more of the coffee cups. Here's some interesting ones that you can put your herring in. Now, the family who used to live here, they had a few of them, and I've managed to find some at you know, at flea markets and things, and they're really great at Christmas and Easter. We eat a lot of herring here, and you can put your herring in it and all the stuff. So there's a wee fishy and a wee dishy. Okay, so there's nothing that needs to go there. We've got my mugs, and then in the next one is glasses and serving dishes, so that's okay. And here we don't keep much food, but we keep you know, basics like crisps and stuff. Okay, nothing there. And the last cupboard I have tea and coffee. Got got to have your lavazza, and some more crisps, you know, family's usual favourite snacks. Okay, and that, so there's nothing to go there. And down below it's the same. I've got, you know, some kitchen appliances. Oh, and you know, things like measuring jugs. And the last one is some baking things like, you know, I keep flour here and dry yeast, and that way I can make up, you know, batches of my 15-minute rolls. You know, I keep on looking down at this and thinking that the neighbour's cat is here. I'm going to have to put it off the side. It's distracting me. Right, so on with a bit of cleaning. And I just do the same as at home. You know, I've got the same products that I have at home. Let's put those to the side. Hold on, that's my apple juice from earlier. Let's pop that there. And I get a lot of questions saying, you know, how often do I do the cleaning here, and do I follow the, you know, the zone thing? And if truth be told, you know, every time that I'm here, I normally do like a mini weekly home blessing hour. And the cabin here is so small that, you know, I can hoover the whole place in 10 or 15 minutes, all the rooms. And then the kids, they always, you know, my kids, they do their own cleaning. That's why you never see me doing their rooms when I'm doing the main videos, because my kids, they clean their own rooms once a week. And it's the same here, you know, they change their sheets here, they clean their room here. So really there's not much to be done. And then, you know, if I feel like it, like today, I thought, oh, I'll spend 15 minutes in here because, you know, we're going to be coming up for Christmas, and it's just good to know what's in the cupboards. And I don't know if we'll have Christmas here and Christmas in Denmark, who knows. Anyway, all I'm doing is just lifting a huge thing. Remember, you don't need to take everything off the counter. But maybe if you've got a lot of things on the counter, you want to think about, you know, do you really need all those kitchen gadgets? I can tell you what we have on our counter. We have our kettle and the coffee pot. Actually, the coffee pot can go down underneath. We're not using that right now. Oh, and I've got this pancake mix here because we'll probably have pancakes for breakfast, so that can stay out. I've got the kettle. And the essentials like the coffee machine. And the other thing about, because we've been talking about this quite often on Instagram recently, about my routines. I do the same routines at the weekend as I do every other day, because it supports me, it makes life easier for me. So when we're here at the weekend, you know, the night, you know, once we've finished clean up from dinner, I set up the coffee machine, we set the table for breakfast, and then when we wake up, it's just really nice. It's like being a hotel, as I said before, having your own Jeeves who's, you know, kind of prepared everything for you. And it's just nice to wake up, you know, and have the clean counters, the coffee is ready. Oh, it really is the way to go. So I do my same routines. I also do a load of laundry. I did a load of laundry here today earlier. Oh, other thing is we have a soda stream here. We don't have a soda stream at home, but it's quite useful here because as we're not here too often, we can make up the soda as we need it. We don't drink a lot of soda. I don't drink soda. My daughter doesn't drink soda, so it's just my husband and my son. And then I have an old baking machine, you know, bread machine. And then the last thing that we have on the counter, which I don't know if you can quite see, is an espresso. Hold on, let me see if I can just move you around. Let me just move on the radio out of the way. We have an espresso coffee machine. Now, my husband and I got that when we got married, like 20 odd years ago, and I don't actually like the capsule coffee anymore. I find it's really expensive. It's really not good for the environment. Hold on, stop the timer right now. So we keep a few of the capsules here, and we have, you know, occasionally have the cup of coffee like that. But I think quite soon that machine will be going off to the charity shop. Hold on, I'm just about to drop you. Okay, so I've got all the counters wiped down here, and I think what I'm going to do is just have a look at the front of the cupboards, give those a quick wipe down. And I painted one summer, I decided to paint all these cabinets. They were actually all brown, you know, kind of Formica brown colour. And I didn't do much prep. All I did was I just started slapping on the white paint. And you know what? Good enough is good enough. You know, this is not a show house. But I can see that probably this summer I'm going to repaint the little knobs on the doors because the paint's beginning to come off those. But that'll be a good wee weekend job when we're here in the summer. Hold on, let me just turn around my cloth. You know, and when you're doing things like kitchen cupboards, just go for the areas, you know, you don't need to be doing the whole of the kitchen cupboard, you know, unless you can see there's a mark on it or something, but just go for the obvious places. Right, that one's done. I'm just going to rinse out my cloth. And then I'm going to do underneath, so I'll do the same thing again. And just the tops of the drawers. 2, 3, 4. And you know my bestie Helena, she was actually the one who screwed on all the knobs. I've got a picture of her working here when we came. Just the two of us and our daughters. Quite often we do that in the summer. It will take a couple of nights. Right, almost done here. And remember, just give it a quick wipe. We're not wanting to take off, you know, the finish or the paint on things. And when you're being consistent with your Flylady Zone cleaning, it won't take a long time. But if you insist on doing, like, you know, spending a whole hour doing it, the problem is that you think, oh, I don't want to do that again. And then you don't do it for another 6 or 7 months. So just take the time to do it every month, and it only takes a minute. Anyway, I'm just going to turn you over the other way, and we'll do a couple of minutes more, and then I'm going to call it a day. Right, just going to continue here. I'm just going to do around the sink. And of course I shine my sink once we've had dinner here, and it's the same. I have the same products as I have over in Denmark. And the windows at the summer house, I can actually get to most of those because it's a very low summer house. I do the windows myself here, and I can do the windows outside, standing on a garden chair. I can normally do them maybe within about half an hour. I can do all the windows here. And remember, when I'm doing the windows, I'm not getting out the bucket of soapy water and dragging everything out. Just a cloth and some generic window cleaner. Right, oh, hold on, just give the front of the microwave a wee wipe down. And we hardly ever use our microwave, and when we do use it with the little lid so it doesn't get many spills. But I've actually got half a lemon in the fridge, so I'll do the old trick, you know, a jar, you know, a bowl of water, half a lemon in it, put it on, you know, full throttle for you know, about 5 minutes, and then I open the microwave, and you know, it's generated enough steam and the lovely smell of lemon. You can just wipe everything down. So I'll do that once I've finished filming. Okay, and here we have all our usual things, salt and pepper, oil, vinegar, and my kitchen utensils. And I like to keep them in a little tray because it just makes it easier to move around. I'll tell you what, we'll take a wee look underneath the sink. Always a bit scary. Let me just dry my hands. Right, okay, underneath the sink, I actually don't have much underneath the sink, and everything I do have underneath the sink is contained in this, just to make it easier to clean. Underneath the sink we have our recycling. In Sweden we recycle a lot more than we do in our area in Denmark. So this is plastics. And then, hold on, I won't show you the yucky food, but I'll show you what we do have as a system here. You have a little holder and you put in these bags, and that is for food waste. And I'll show you. These food waste bags go like that, and then when you get to this amount, you wrap it all up carefully and put it in the bin. And in here you can put any kind of food waste, vegetables, bits of chicken bone, whatever it is, and also any kind of kitchen paper. If you've been using kitchen roll, baking paper, that is all kind of compostable. So that goes in there. So I keep the extra bags underneath, and that way if anybody else is borrowing the house, they know what to do. And in here I keep extra things, dishwasher tablets, the rinse aid for the dishwasher. Oh, that reminds me, I need to get some salt for the dishwasher. Let me just add that to my list. Also remember, when we're in this zone, to add anything that you're missing, like kitchen roll, washing up liquid, any kind of supplies. Right. So that one's alright, and I've got extra rubbish bags, rubber gloves, but it looks a wee bit grotty in the bottom of this. The bottom of the sink looks great because there's nothing in there. But what I'm going to do is, once I stop filming here, I'm just going to give this a quick rinse out. I'll take everything, give it a quick rinse out so it looks nice. So anyway, I'm going to stop it here because I'm going to go off for a little walk myself, and then I'm going to have a nap, and then I'm going to settle down with Father Brown or Hercule Poirot. So I hope you managed to get something done in Zone 2 this week. Remember, it doesn't need to be a chunk of 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Just, when you're making dinner at night, while you're boiling the kettle in the morning to make yourself a cuppa, open a drawer. Is there anything that can be given away? Is there anything that you can use up? Let's think creatively. We're coming up for Christmas. If you've got excess food in the house, try and use it up, because we'll be bringing all the kind of Christmassy stuff soon. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm away to enjoy the rest of the day. All I've got left to say is live long and prosper. May the Swedish hygge be with you today, and I shall see you over on the other side, back in the house in Copenhagen. Okay, bye for now.